right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me make sure my settings are good. Okay, let me know how I sound in chat, if it's okay. Yeah, I've been out for a week. I apologize. Just stomach issues, kind of coming back again, unfortunately. But today, feeling better, so we press on. Hopefully, in due time, we get my health issues under control. But, I figured it wouldn't happen overnight, and it's going to take a bit. But I got to see my doctor on Monday, and hopefully, we get some answers. And, it's been tough. But anyway, we are here to cover the missing children out of Nova Scotia. Been following this case and covering it. It's been kind of gone quiet. There was a search that happened over the weekend, which was interesting. So we'll definitely talk about that. And then I've got some other things that we'll look into. But I appreciate the love and support. I sound good. Thank you guys. Look, we got... Oh, no. I feel a little bit better. But yeah. Again, it's going to be a process. But anyway, let's get into it. Just real quick as always, just because it's coming up real fast here. There will be a search going on in Wells, Nevada for Aiden Clune. It's a case that I have been involved in since they first went searching for him 3 years ago. He went missing 3 years ago on April 27th. Unfortunately, I do have tons of videos on it if you want to learn more, but long story short is he went out. He's just 19 years old. His family lives in California. He came out here to Utah. He was going to stay with his grandparents. He was kind of, I don't know if depression is the right word, but he kind of wanted to have a new start, fresh start, and wanted to come live with his grandparents here in Utah. And then as he got here in Utah, he started kind of acting paranoid, and then he ended up going west and ended up in Wells, Nevada. And he ended up staying the night, and then he headed south and early in the morning, and he just ended up pulling over on the side of the freeway, or highway, I should say, and ended up just kind of wandering out into the desert, into this mountain range, never to be seen again. So anyway, really tough story. The mother, the family has been searching for him. There has been no sign of him for the last 2 years, and then last year we went out there and we found the first physical evidence ever, and that was his shoes. And that was a huge find because at that time they still, didn't know if maybe he could have made it out. But finding those shoes kind of, makes it seem like there's a good possibility, unfortunately, that he is out there and needs to be recovered. So anyway, I just wanted to say, if anybody's around Utah in this area, and would like to be involved in the search, it's going on May 31st and June 1st. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. And you can learn more here. I'll just put up the little QR codes there. There's the Facebook group if you want to which has all the information, some TikToks about his videos. And then, I'm not big on showing GoFundMes, but I know this GoFundMe, it would be appropriate because I know, that they use those funds for good use. Oops, I pushed this. Anyway, and they did have cadaver dogs go out there, I believe this past weekend, and I think they're going to have some more, hopefully, when they go out there. So I'm really hoping that this year will be the year that they the family can get answers. Did he have an anniversary? Yeah, technically in April, I guess. But yeah, the family doesn't go out there until about May because the weather, since it's kind of higher elevation, the weather, it just changes on a dime, and it can get really hot or really cold. It is the desert. But usually at that elevation, you'll start to get rain and snow, and you'll even see snow even when you go out there in May, just because it's still melting. And then there's kind of like 3 months that are really good, and then all of a sudden it starts to rain and then snow again. So it's tough out there. But I'm hoping they get answers. But yeah, here's the shoes we found, and it was, a huge find, at least something of his after 2 years of searching and nothing found. But unfortunately, we searched a lot after that, but still, we unfortunately did not find him. 140
searchers are combing the woods of...
All right, so on to the Nova Scotia update. Let me get this going here. I apologize, my computer. So just one more thing regarding the Aiden Clune case. I did a Dropbox for the mother, Amy, because I have nearly a half a terabyte of drone footage over the past 2 years of searching for Aiden. And so I used the Dropbox, which is a cloud service, to have that, and so that they can download all that drone footage instead of sending it to them, through the mail. And anyway, long story short, I don't like using those cloud services because they sync up sometimes. And when they sync up, that means that information's on your computer as well. And even though I have a terabyte hard drive, I had no idea that it was synced. I was just thinking it was offline only, and that's just for, on the cloud. And I learned the hard way that it was not synced, and for some reason I'm having trouble unsyncing it. So now my computer is basically full. I'm praying that my computer doesn't like brick or anything, but so I'm trying to figure that out as well. So it's been kind of a pain in the butt. She's supposed to download this footage pretty soon, so hopefully it won't be an issue. But anyway, I just wanted to address that. It's been, I hate dealing with these cloud services. I mean, they are nice in some regards, but when they sync up, it's a pain in the butt. Let's see here. Just checking chat. All right, so I'll just play a quick recap, the 3-minute recap real quick. And I'm just going to make sure my settings are all good here. And then we'll get into, I'll do a little bit of the timeline and then just get us up to date to where, since I last covered, because it was kind of quiet last week. And then on the this last weekend, they did have a search. And then... it doesn't seem like, at least if they found something, they're not saying anything, but let's play the recap real quick.
140 searchers are combing the woods of Pictou County on the ground with drones and helicopters in the air. Still, after 5 days, there is no sign of Lily and Jack Sullivan. The search area for the siblings has been expanded. CTV's Hafsa Arif is there again tonight.
As RCMP combed through woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. RCMP haven't shared any additional evidence.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us. and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate
Outside this Nova Scotia home, a reminder of the heartbreaking absence. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan missing 6 days now. Their stepfather getting an update from RCMP officers. It's news he says he knew was coming, but didn't want to hear. Police are scaling back the search and rescue of the siblings, with hope dwindling.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Breaks my heart.
All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and we'll get into the interview. So one of the things I did is I went and looked at all the statements, because a lot of them, we have some interviews. We have one interview from the mother, and then most of the rest are from the stepfather, Daniel. I went and noticed that there's a lot of little statements from different publications, like the Globe, the Canadian Press, and it's very interesting because there's short little quotes talking about that very morning, and it's kind of interesting the way that some of the stories kind of change a little bit, and we'll definitely get into that towards the middle part here. Thank you guys so much for the love and support as always. I just wanted to quickly shout out Elbo's mom, member for 35 months. That's so awesome. Love from London. Thank you so much, Elbo's mom. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Josh the Posh, trying to compete with 29 months. Hi all. It's been a while. Get better, Chris. Much love. Thank you so much, Josh. Appreciate it. All right. Let's go. 32 minutes. 32. Okay. So I'm just going to play a few highlights of the case through the timeline. I'm not going to play it all because we did that last live. But I'll just play a few of the, major highlights. And then we'll get into kind of the newer stuff.
Many of the roughly 100 people who live in Lansdowne are related and have been there for generations. Lily and Jack, along with their mother Malihia Brooks Murray and baby sister Meadow, moved to the community 2 years ago, into the childhood home of Daniel Martel, who describes himself as the missing children's stepfather. The children's biological father has no contact with them, according to their family. Mr. Martel's mother also lives on the property, in a dilapidated camper with multiple cats and a dog. It overlooks the fenced-in backyard where Ms. Brooks Murray and Mr. Martel reported they must have escaped from and wandered off.
So they do have dogs, according to this statement.
Who describes himself as the missing children's stepfather.
I want to play that again.
The children's biological father has no contact with them, according to their family. Mr. Martel's mother also lives on the property, in a dilapidated camper with multiple cats and a dog. It overlooks the fenced-in backyard where Ms. Brooks Murray and Mr. Martel reported they must have escaped from and wandered off.
So just to highlight, of course,
April 29th, 2025. The last day Lily and Jack Sullivan.
So actually, I'll just turn this down so I can run through this. I'm going to put this up on my Patreon and then my members, where it's just basically without me doing the talking and the live and everything. And it's just going to be basically just the whole story and the timeline with audio. But, of course, April 29th is the last time anyone, the bus driver, a third party would see the children, which is, huge kind of red flag. But that would be the last time, other than, again, the parents and the inside family. April 29th, they were dropped off on that Tuesday, April 29th. They wouldn't have school on Wednesday, and then they didn't show up Thursday and or Friday, according to the parents or the mother and the stepfather, that Lily had a cough, so they did not go to school Thursday, and then clearly Friday, and that's when they went missing. Let's see here.
So, yeah, I think that's all we kind of have right now. I asked the risk manager if he wants Constable Mason to depart there to go get some phone service to send those images or not. Go somewhere and get service and get those photos sent out.
Too.
Just make sure Mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house. Copy, and just for everyone's awareness,
I think so.
Based on the profile.
Yeah, Lori. So that's what it sounded like, according to that article. That, Daniel's mother, who also has a brother that lives there, she lives in the camper. I don't know if the brother does as well. But it said she had multiple cats and a dog, so that's kind of interesting.
Children could have traveled at least 6 kilometers. So,
of course, May 2nd, Friday, they get a call by 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. With a report that the 2 children are missing.
Keep that in mind.
Sergeant Young, for your awareness there, media release has been put out and a non-intrusive alert is sent out to Pictou County.
Tell him, my partner, Daniel.
So this is the mother. I am going to skip this right now because we're going to come back to her interview and break that down versus Daniel's interviews. So let's move on. Just kind of get up to date here.
May 3, 2025, RCMP issue a broadcast intrusive alert, a public cell phone notice that the children are missing, to people in Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. The Mounties Major Crimes Unit becomes involved in the investigation. Ms. Brooks-Murray and Mr. Martel attend a briefing at the Search and Rescue Headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road. Mr. Martel said Ms. Brooks-Murray leaves midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance. She departs with her mother, and Mr. Martel said he hasn't seen her since. She cuts off contact with him after this.
So that was kind of interesting to learn the other week, because we had heard that there was a fight, but we knew that she had left, but it was kind of interesting to see that article, and according to them, that she went to where they were kind of doing a meeting, getting prepared to do a search at the command post, and at some point she ended up getting into an ambulance, and then from there she ended up leaving and taking the baby with her, and then of course Daniel, they would do a report claiming that the family had a fight, and that the mother's side was accusing Daniel of being involved
after this
somehow in the disappearance.
Rain complicates the search efforts as search and rescue teams.
Yeah, I apologize. Some of this is AI, so yeah, if it's I do apologize. As again, some of this is AI, and yeah, sometimes those words it doesn't come out right.
Work through dense forest and boggy conditions. Drones, equipped with infrared technology, are used at night to look for any traces of the children.
Yeah, I think that's a huge red flag. here's this. We'll kind of come back to this, but yeah, this was a statement with the mother. Again, this will kind of come into everything we're going to go through.
Family coming up to see him.
So that was May 3rd, Saturday. This is the search, just kind of the area of the search. I showed you guys here. And it was kind of interesting to see like where they headed.
Right here that are still visible. They're a bit eroded from the heavy rain, but they're still visible.
So if you guys remember, they said that they'd found some boot prints, and this was on the actual audio, dispatch audio. We could hear it, and so looking at the map, you have the home here and the command post here, and if you notice, they ended up really kind of going west.
Or what you'd like to do. Over.
And I believe...
Let Greg tell you what he wants.
My theory would be is that probably those boot prints are somewhere over here, and then that just kind of forced them more west. Again, they as far as I know, they haven't said exactly where. I know in the audio it says like by the pipeline or something, the pipeline trail. But clearly, I think that would have forced them. Obviously, if they find any evidence that may, that could be from the children, of course, that's going to be like their new main area now that they're going to search wherever that is. Because clearly, if that was their boot prints, then that's your critical new main lead, and so of course now you're gonna cover more ground in that area. So I'm assuming they kind of got forced west, but I know some of this stuff is open area, so maybe they use drones to kind of cover some of the more flat area, which there's not a lot, but there is some. Moving on, so we have May 5th. May 6th is when Daniel is brought in. Let's see. Yeah, let me turn this up.
Refrain from jumping to conclusions or sharing unverified information, as this can complicate the efforts of the multiple agencies involved in the ongoing investigation. The children could be. They're easy on me because they know I'm telling the truth about everything.
Let me back this up a little bit. Okay, right here.
May 5, 2025. Searchers find no sign of the children, despite heavily scanning a 4 square kilometer area around their mobile home. A report that a child's boot print is found nearby sparks some focused searching in that area.
Third would be Saturday.
May 6, 2025. Police take Mr. Martel to the Pictou County District RCMP detachment in the town of Stellarton, where he is questioned for 4 hours. He said he was asked to go over details and timelines to the minute and draw on maps where he thinks the children could be.
So, of course, they bring him in, and then, coincidentally, the day after May 6th, he is then they have a press conference, which they then share that they're going to be suspending the search after the end of the day.
Children.
So did they kind of get some information that didn't line up with the stories, and that kind of said
2025.
That kind of told them that they need to halt the search and kind of wait until they get more information or evidence wherever. Obviously they know much more than we do.
Morning, RCMP arrive at the home and ask Mr. Martel to hand over his phone, which he said he did. When asked about how police are investigating the children's disappearance, maternal grandmother Cindy Murray tells the Globe, "We're not discussing anything right now. The police told us not to."
Which is interesting, because then he's still done interviews after that. Cindy Murray... that's Cindy Murray. I'm sorry, that's the maternal grandmother. I apologize. Yeah, that's on the mother's side. So they take his phone, which is interesting.
Lansdowne Lake. .
And then I believe they would also focus search on a lake nearby.
RCMP searched the dense forest behind the home in a helicopter. Plainclothes investigators arrive again to speak with Mr. Martel. Basically, at this point, they just want to look at any tech that could help match up any phones that came into the yard, he said. That afternoon, a friend drives him to the Children's Protective Services office in Stellarton, where he requests to see his 16-month-old daughter, but is denied.
So someone was interesting on some of that audio that's been released, where I think it was the mother that claimed, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I believe it said, and this come from Plunder's channel. I love her channel. She does such a great job. But in that audio, it says something about where the mother was having issues. I forget the exact quote, but she couldn't send the picture of the children because she was out of service, but she was near the home, which was interesting. So it shows you that just that area, I'm assuming maybe they have Wi-Fi, but they have to be close to the home. But it seems like if they go outside the Wi-Fi, they don't have service.
As of now, I can't be around Meadow, he said during an interview the following day. With the kids going missing, Children's Protective Services wants to keep a tight leash on everything.
Yeah, Blue Jay
May
says they
9th,
have a router.
2025.
Most cell phones can call 911 without service. Yeah, I think in the thing is that she couldn't send a photo, but which makes sense. But the 911 call, I guess, would make sense then.
Lily and Jack have been missing for more than a week. Mr. Martel says he's been exceedingly cooperative with investigators. I gave them everything from my phone. I asked for a lie detector test and drug tests. I'm the one trying to move this forward and give any information that I have. He adds that police are looking at the wireless router in the home to see who connected to the internet at what times. A large RCMP truck is in the area. Mr. Martel says RCMP scoured Lansdowne Lake from above by helicopter and also went into the lake but found nothing.
God bless you. So yeah, that's very interesting. We talked about that last live. The wireless router in the home. Clearly, that will kind of help them a little bit with their alibi and their story. Did they, was the phone near the Wi-Fi when they said they were? When they go out, was there no connection to the cell phone? Yeah, so that would be kind of interesting. But unfortunately, they'll have a tough time because if they're in areas with no cell service, they're not going to be able to track, kind of like in an Alex Murdoch case or many other cases where, that's kind of the norm now with true crime. And it seems because this area is just so vast. Okay, so now caught up to where I was at last week, and then of course it just kind of calmed down. There wasn't much going on last week. The one thing that they kind of mentioned on Tuesday, May 13th, is that they had 180 tips, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they had identified 35 people to conduct formal interviews with. These people include community members and those closest to the family. They also talked about that they confirmed that the underwater recovery team searched lakes around the Lansdowne station on May 8th and 9th, but did not uncover any evidence. I'm assuming even if they did, they probably wouldn't tell us. But I heard a rumor, and again, keep in mind, just a rumor. Let me know in chat if you've heard anything like this, but I did see somewhere where somebody commented that lives out there and said that a good portion of these 35 people were from the school, which would make sense. But anyway, that's, again, a rumor, allegedly. Hey, Terry, we're way overdue for... Yeah, we're gonna get into the mother and the stepfather. I did really kind of break something down here in a bit. So then this past weekend they had they came back out, which was very, kind of sparked everything up because it was kind of like cooling down last week, not much going on. And then this is very interesting because they're being brought out. And again, on what grounds, what does the RCMP know? Do they have, some tips or possible leads that they're trying to follow up on? Or is this just kind of trying to cover ground that they didn't cover in the last search previous? So they talk about going out, waiting for this to come back. So Saturday, search resumed with 100 searchers scouring the area, already covered and expanding into new areas. This will continue into Sunday. In an interview, stepdad Daniel Martell said he hoped for a positive outcome and that the search teams would find something. Sunday they had 115 people, that's a pretty good number. Even though that's such a very vast open area. I mean, they could probably use a lot more, but sorry, that was supposed to stay up there. Let's see. Okay, I see why I skipped it. So they did the search, and then I've got two little news clips from those searches. This is also a post from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is the RCMP. Ground and air search efforts are planned for tomorrow, May 17th, as a missing persons investigation into Lily and Jack continues. Searchers from the ground search and rescue teams, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, and the RCMP will focus on specific areas around Garlock Road in an effort to locate the missing children. So again, did they have some kind of possible tips or leads that led them out to these particular areas? Let me know what you think in the chat. I do think they probably have at least something that they're trying to go off.
These woods, scoured for a week without a trace of two missing kids, about to be examined again. Officials now confirming the search surrounding the home of Lily and Jack Sullivan will resume Saturday, likely as a recovery effort.
The county as a whole and the province as a whole, I think, need to know what happened in this case.
Police say the 4- and 6-year-olds wandered away 2 weeks ago and said they had no evidence the children were abducted. But RCMP didn't announce the involvement of the Major Crimes Unit until days after it was brought in, nor that it hadn't ruled out that the disappearance was suspicious.
RCMP declined an interview request and would not answer our questions about the case. For instance, it isn't clear why investigators are so certain the children were not abducted, and officials have not said whether they know who, other than their family, was last with the kids.
Now, after dozens of police interviews and more than 180 tips from the public, still no answers.
It doesn't add up at many levels.
This criminologist questioning the way RCMP are sharing information about the case, relying on the public for tips, but giving few details.
Based on appearances, this went in the wrong direction early on, and key momentum and leads were lost when they were out in the fields looking for kids that maybe were never there.
This expert is...
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the forest too as well. And just a little bit of my experience of going out and searching in similar conditions.
Zeroing in on other aspects of the disappearance, like school being closed, then the kids being homesick the following day.
The 2 days unaccounted before the missingness is just a red flag.
But for this worried community, what's top of mind now is that the search is resuming. whether for rescue or recovery. Nicholas Sagan, CBC News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. Yeah, it does. I mean, been in true crime for a while. Yeah, you do have like a calm, and then the calm before the storm, and then all of a sudden, a few days go by, and then all of a sudden, you start getting Twitter updates or whatever. I hope that it's good news that they find them alive somehow, and there's always a chance. But unfortunately, apparently human trafficking in that area is really high, which is really sad. So after the search on Sunday, the RCMP confirmed the ground search was ending for now, which is kind of interesting, but I guess it's the end of the weekend. They got the volunteers. Probably a lot of those volunteers work Monday through Friday, and have, just have the weekend to be able to come in and volunteer and search. So that could be just the reason why they're just doing the Saturday, Sunday thing. But it's still interesting that they're still going out there. So they said that that after they're done with the weekend, that they're going to review and assess what to do next. And then this is the Nova Scotia premiere.
2 young children missing. It's hard on the entire community.
It has been more than 2 weeks since 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack were reported missing from their home. Police have said the children are believed to have wandered away from their property in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. Premier Tim Houston, whose riding is in Pictou County, calls it a devastating time.
I know the authorities are running a professional, thorough search, but this is weighing heavy on the minds of certainly people in Pictou County, but well beyond as well.
Sound like a kind of a governor. I know I could probably just Google it in 2 seconds, but let me know in chat. I'm assuming a primer is something political. Let's see here. There's one more clip I just wanted to shout out. Chemistry Queen, praying for complete healing for you. Much love from Louisiana. God bless you, Chemistry Queen. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. God bless you. That does help me. God bless. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's I'm sure it's going to be
And search managers will be reviewing information collected during the searches on Saturday and Sunday and determining next steps. The children's stepfather says he's thankful to all the people searching for Lily and Jack, and he refuses to give up hope.
The snare everyone's hoping for is we bring them home. That's the main objective. It's always been that from day one.
The disappearance has sparked rampant speculation on social media, much of it involving Martel. He calls it all nonsense and says he's had nothing to do with the disappearance.
It will never be enough for a lot of people online. I mean, everywhere I go, people stare. But that's something I have to live with until, the truth makes its way out. And the truth always makes its way out.
Sky Bryden Blom, Global News, Halifax.
Okay. So now, one more thing, and then we're going to get into the mother and all the little different articles that, Daniel had spoken to, and there's quotes, and I put them all, tried to find all the ones that I could. There was quite a bit, and put those together because it's basically all of the stuff that I could find about basically that morning, like their account, right? Unfortunately, since the mother only did one interview, we only have one thing to go off her. But with Daniel, there's a lot of different, publications that he spoke to, and the story does kind of change, especially versus the mother. And then, of course, we have these profilers, which are so fun to watch and so informative. And anyway, they've been breaking some stuff down. And so anyway, Then there was a former dog handler that came in and kind of spoke their mind about what they think about the case. Kind of some interesting stuff here.
Glenn Brown, who worked as an operational dog handler in the RCMP in several provinces for 26 years, said the fact the Sullivan children haven't been found is just really strange. I find it hard to believe that a 6- and 4-year-old would just disappear like that, said Brown, who was involved in hundreds of searches during his career. I can guarantee you if I was still working today, it would be the thing to be racing around your mind all the time. Where would they have gone? We have done everything. If police had received a tip or evidence, the substance of that information likely was not known by the searchers or even officers on the ground. Given that the RCMP's major crime unit is involved, they may tell them, "We got a tip and we just want you to go in that area and search and see if you find anything," said Brown.
So that's kind of interesting. Basically what we've seen before, I've heard like the RCMP is kind of like the FBI, and so anyway, if they had, some kind of lead or evidence, that they're kind of evidence, and they're going to follow up on some leads with that. Obviously, if they're going out sending officers or volunteers, that they wouldn't really share that information, just what the goal is and the areas that they want to search.
They don't even tell their own people that unless you are in the know, unless you're in that investigative group. He added that it's possible evidence has been found during the course of the investigation, but RCMP are not releasing that information publicly. As well, Brown said investigators may have reviewed information that warrants re-examining an area, or perhaps there were weather or wildlife concerns that prevented them from searching a particular area before.
All right. Now we'll get into the statements and the stepfather. And yeah, we are going to actually look at Deception Detective towards the end. Love the channel. Amazing guy. Great and informative YouTube channel. And I have a couple of clips from him because he's definitely been covering this. And thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. All right, so let's break down because, of course, what's cool about watching Deception Detective and all these different profilers that have different areas like body language analysis, or like Deception Detective, where he is more analyzing the verbiage, which is really cool. And anyway, so I kind of broke down some stuff between the mom and the stepfather.
What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time, and the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911.
So, just a few things. So she uses the word "we" in this, a lot of "we's." So her and the stepfather. I just want to kind of, obviously, highlight some of those specific statements. So we woke up and I heard them playing. Also, we weren't aware of it at the time. Again, we. We get up and I tell them, we get up and I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" Again, we. So him or her and the stepfather. And then when you listen to the stepfather, and again, we know we have some interviews, but a lot of what he told about like that specific what happened like she did, a lot of it is in articles. We don't actually have like the audio, which is kind of interesting.
My partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says no, and we get up instantly. We're looking outside, we're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911.
We get up instantly, we're looking outside.
Mr. Martell speaks to the Globe and Mail about what happened on the morning the children went missing. Lily came into the room multiple times. I seen her that morning, and Jack was out playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing, and they slid open the back sliding door. It's almost like silent to hear it sliding. They slid it open and the boots were right beside the door, and they proceeded to, I'm guessing, playing outside. They must have got out through the back fence and then they were gone. As soon as I seen they were gone, immediately jumped in the car and did all the dirt roads, all the culverts, checked over the rivers and streams. As soon as I got home 10 minutes later, I headed out on foot.
And again, a lot of people say, why didn't he just go out there like screaming their name? Because what you're going to read here, again, like I said, I'd try to find every interview because a lot of them, you know, they're not, because here, you know, like in the United States, a lot of people just, you know, have the interviews. We can clip them. But here, I don't know if they were just doing phone call interviews and then just writing down. But yeah, so there's a lot of different interviews with the stepfather, with him explaining that morning, and there's some differences, especially versus the mother, and I'll highlight the big ones towards the end here, but this is kind of interesting, and let me know if you see anything else that's red flag. Let's see, I'm not going to read this one. I pulled this one up too. This is also the Globe, but we'll focus on this first one. And you'll notice a difference between what the mother said with the we, us. Well, she doesn't use us, but, you know, the we. And here it's singular with I seen her that morning speaking to. So he just said that, yeah, I had watched Lily come in and out of the bedroom. And then continues to say, I seen her that morning and Jack was out playing in the kitchen. So again, just him seeing her that morning. Even though she was coming in and out of the bedroom, remember, they're supposed to be in bed together. And he says, as soon as I seen they were gone, I jumped in the car. Again, just him. And then the Canadian press, I was able to find this one.
Daniel Martell said he was in his home in Lansdowne Station, NS, early Friday morning with the children's mother and their 16-month-old baby, when he could hear 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan on the move elsewhere in their home. As soon as I noticed that I didn't hear anything, I immediately jumped out of bed, he said in an interview outside the home.
This is the biggest one, where it's just him.
I searched the bedrooms and looked in the backyard because they go looking for bugs and grass to feed the chickens. And when I noticed they weren't there, I jumped in my vehicle and surveyed every dirt road and culvert I could find. Martell, 33, said the pair probably slipped out a back door. Martell, 33, said the pair probably slipped out a back door. They went to the backsliding door, and it's virtually silent when you try to open it, he said, adding that both children were home from school because Lily had a cough. We only found 2 boot tracks outside of the house, about 10 feet away from the backyard. Asked why he thinks the pair may have been abducted, Martell said, I have no idea why anyone would want to take them, but they're easy to take. If they would have wandered to the road, they would get in any car as long as you offered them food or water, or even candy or anything like that. Or even to see mom and dad, they would immediately get in.
I have never seen that statement. I have been following this case, and again, I've had some time off. But I have never heard that statement from him. Let me know if the chat if you have heard that. But I thought that was wild because you know how they've been kind of pushing that abduction theory / narrative. and hear him saying they're easy to take. This is really
door,
disturbing.
and it's virtually silent when you try to open it, he said, adding that both children were home from school because Lily had a cough. We only found 2 boot tracks outside of the house, about 10 feet away from the backyard. Asked why he thinks the pair may have been abducted, Martel said, I have no idea why anyone would want to take them, but they're easy to take. If they would have wandered to the road, they would get in any car as long as you offered them food or water, or even candy or anything like that.
That is just so weird. Isn't that sus? Even bringing up like the candy, that is really creepy. And I personally have not heard that statement. Again, because there's a lot of different little articles that just have little snippets, and some of them are behind like a little paywall or something. And this particular one, I think the Canadian Press, you have to like subscribe or whatever. But yeah, I was blown away by that. I clearly had missed that and thought that was pretty wild. But also, going back to what he said here before, again, this is another, a different publication with another account. It's mostly the same. There is a few extra details, which again are huge when you're going to compare him to the mother. And I thought this one was huge.
Or even to see mom and dad, they would immediately get in.
So weird. Yeah. So just some of the highlights of that story. When he could hear, again, just him, not when we could hear the 6-year-old and 4-year-old Lily and Jack. As soon as I noticed that I didn't hear anything, I jumped out of bed. Again, just him, not we, he's not saying as soon as we noticed that we didn't hear anything, or as soon as I noticed we didn't hear anything, I jumped out of bed, or we jumped out of bed. But again, it's all I.
And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and...
One more, and I'm going to keep playing. And this is her in the background, kind of matching up versus what he's saying. I searched the bedrooms and looked in the backyard. I, not we. Now listen to what she says.
I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. It's just...
So again, one more time. Oops.
For bugs and his mother and 4 tracks out have wandered to...
And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner.
So remember, we get up, we, her, and him, but according to his side of the story, it's just him that searched the bedrooms and looked in the backyard. And, checking the coop and whatever.
Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere.
We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere. But on his version, it's just him. Solo, according to his story.
Yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. It's just...
I know what that is. Okay, we'll come back to that.
He and the children's mother.
Then I found one more publication, the Chronic Herald, which then it switches. And again, just a little bit more information. I'm going to try to put that all together because if you take all those, some of those have like some newer stuff, especially that one from the Canadian Press where he's talking about searching the searching the bedrooms, then the kitchen, and then he went out into the backyard searching around. And then versus the mother where, we all get up and we're searching.
Daniel Robert Martell told the Chronicle Herald that he and the children's mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, last heard Jack and Lily on Friday morning as they lay in bed with their baby.
Now, of course, that is not a direct quote, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But, if that is true, they basically are saying that, they're both, they both heard, Jack and Lily. But again, of course, this is not a quote.
The sun was already up and Lily came into the bedroom, said Mark.
Now, that is a quote. So he's saying the sun already up and Lily came into the bedroom.
Martell. She had a pink shirt on. We could hear Jackie in the kitchen.
Another new one I've never heard. We could hear Jackie. So at least Martell, I guess they call him Jackie. Jack. So he's saying that they could hear Jackie in the kitchen.
A few minutes later, we didn't hear them, so I went out to check. The sliding door was closed. Their boots were gone.
Again, so it's still, we have the we, but then when it goes to the searching, it goes back to just him checking, where according to the mother, it's we.
Martell is not father to Jack and Lily. He's been Brooks Murray's partner for 3 years. He said the children have undiagnosed autism, and it is not like them to wander far. Martell said he immediately jumped in the car and searched neighboring roads, looking in culverts. By the time he returned home, the RCMP were on the scene after being called by the children's mother.
So again, just kind of recapping this, they last heard Jack and Lily lay in the bed, but again, that's not really a quote.
And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside.
We get up instantly and we go outside. But of course, even in this other newer version where he doesn't just use just I, he begins with, "Yeah, we didn't hear him." But then when it goes to where he's going out to check on him, then it goes back to him using "I went," and I'm checking the bedroom, the kitchen, and the backyard. And then, of course, the mom saying different, that they are both searching.
We're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. It's just...
Yeah.
May 3, 2025,
Yep.
RCMP issue a broadcast intrusive alert, a public cell phone notice that the children are missing, to people in Antigonish, Colchester, and Pictou counties. The Mounties Major Crimes Unit becomes involved in the investigation. Ms. Brooks Murray and Mr. Martell attend a briefing.
So now you have two stories that don't really kind of line up, because it seems like he kind of goes from the we, especially those first interview, or some of the interviews, because I'm not sure which, they all probably were taken, close to May 3rd, 4th, somewhere in that area, getting the details from that morning. But again, they do change a bit, and especially his version versus hers are much different. But again, I know people have talked about this since probably the very beginning. If they were together in the bed, right, and their stories, as she says, were laying together, and they know that the kids are there, this is a huge red flag that the next day, after some searching's going on, she up and leaves. And then, of course, switches her status to single, blocks him on social media.
At the search and rescue headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road, Mr. Martell said Ms. Brooks Murray leaves midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance. She departs with her mother, and Mr. Martell said he hasn't seen her since. She cuts off contact with him after this. Rain complicates the search efforts, as search and rescue teams work through dense forest and boggy conditions. Drones, equipped with infrared technology, are used at night to look for any traces of the children.
Yeah. Kiki, yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is and then this is just obviously the version from Daniel's side, where according to Martel, Jensen's flirt between the families on the day of the disappearance lead to a confrontation in the yard. My mother asked some people to leave the property because they're accusing me of being involved. And again, that would make no sense if they were both in the bed together. And according to the mom, the kids were there. And then if they go missing, and we'll go back, he says literally in that last one, he literally says that they heard him, and then for a few minutes it got quiet. And then he went out and searched, at least in one of his stories. So, I mean, like, how far could they have really gotten if it was really just a few minutes? But, of course, that just doesn't add up. And then he also says that stating that the mother's departure, she did not leave voluntarily, but was forced off the property by his mother. And, of course, that was all because finger pointing. I don't know. That just doesn't make any sense.
Went someplace else.
Used forest in boggy conditions. Rain.
See them.
So of course we have a lot of the high profilers or former profilers covering this case, and I thought I'd throw a few highlights so I could read chat here. Yeah, and that's been a weird kind of because some of the extended family, and I think even some of the school members, part of the school, said that that the kids were nonverbal, but then the mother and stepfather come out and say no, they are verbal. So I don't know. Is that trying to kind of push the theory that they're with the abduction? Oh, thank you, Gingers. Yeah, I'm going to put this out for Patreon members. I'm going to condense it, just have the timeline up to, today's date, which is pretty much done. But here's a couple of snippets from Pat Brown, who I love. She's a former criminal profiler. Points out a few things. She put this video out, I think, about 4 days ago. I'm just playing a few highlights. If you want to see the whole video, I have the link to her channel at the bottom. But she has a couple of interesting thoughts. I mean, she's amazing.
Now, as far as I know, nobody's seen them at all since Tuesday. That's when the bus driver dropped the kids off at their home. Now, so the Tuesday was the last time somebody else saw them. Then the Wednesday was a holiday, so there was no school, so the kids would be at home. I'm not sure exactly. She's 6, he's 4. I don't know. I guess maybe he goes to preschool. So anyway, they were clearly weren't going to be seen on Wednesday. Well, unless they went someplace. And Thursday, she supposedly had a cough, so they stayed home. I'm not sure why he would stay home.
And that's what I said too. I'm like, well, if one's sick but the other one's not, why didn't he go? Which I think is another kind of red flag.
So the last time they were seen was on a Tuesday afternoon when they were dropped off. And since then, as far as I know, unless if you know any differently, put it in the comments below. As far as I know, since Tuesday afternoon, that was the last sighting of the children outside of the claims of the mother and stepdad. So unless somebody saw them on Wednesday or Thursday, we don't know that they were alive on Wednesday or Thursday. We don't. So this is one thing the police will be checking. They'll be checking all the phones, the mom and stepdad's phones. They'll be checking, I don't know if there's any cameras in the area where they can see the vehicles going by.
I'm going to share some insight, because obviously, for those that I know, there's a lot of newer viewers, but I have been involved in a decent amount of searches, some independently, some more professionally, and I've also had the opportunity to work with Texas EquiSearch on a case with Dylan Rounds. So I've had a little bit of experience with volunteering and searching. Again, I'm not a professional, but I am a drone operator, but I do also go out and clearly search through these kind of terrains. And there's something that, like, really to me is another red flag that I'll point out after I play her clip. It shows the guy walking through some of this area. And I just want to point out a few things that just from experience that to me, I just cannot see how they would not have found some items from the children.
They're going to check all of those things to be sure that these two children didn't come to harm in the home between Tuesday afternoon and Friday morning when the 911 call was made, and were then taken someplace and buried, shall we say. Because that's like 60 hours that I don't know if anybody knows where these kids were. And 60 hours is a long time. If something happened to them on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, that's a long time to get rid of bodies. Just saying. So they could absolutely drive a heck of a long distance and find a place, because it's a very rural area, lots of woods, to find a place to put the no longer alive children. That would be truthful. This is not truthful. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door. They just, and I want you to keep an eye on the word just.
Yeah, I need to get that clip, Kent. Thank you for reminding me. Because I thought I heard something about 8, because I do have that. When I first covered this, I said, because I'd seen somebody talking about it, had like a source or something. And yeah, so I had it at 8 that they were supposedly that they last seen them. But yeah, the fact that the 911 was called at like 9:40, yet the story is, that they're only gone for minutes and then they're out searching. She calls 911 immediately. So yeah, that doesn't add up at all.
Because just oftentimes means there's deception, that there's a lie coming up. They happen to just get out that sliding door. How do they just get out the sliding door? Well, probably because it's accessible to them. Is that what you're saying? Like the lock doesn't work on there or whatever? Or you're not really worried because they're 6 and 4, so if they can open the door and go out back, you don't really mind that much? Something's not quite right in what you're saying. They happen to just get out of that sliding door. And we can't hear it when it opens, she said. Well, how many times have they stuck out and you didn't hear it?
Right.
It's a little confusing. Yeah. All right. Now we get to this. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. This is where everybody goes, whoa. Even people who aren't profilers and don't do statement analysis go, whoa, this doesn't make sense. They were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. Then how do you know they were outside playing?
Yeah, for those that don't know, again, I'd have to look back, but she was very famous back in the day and clearly still highly respectable on YouTube. But yeah, she was a criminal profiler and has an amazing channel. Again, I do have the link to her channel in the description down below.
That makes zero sense. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. What? So if you didn't know they were outside playing, then how did it become quiet? I mean, wouldn't it have been quiet, just quiet? I mean, if you didn't hear them outside, and then it got quiet. What? It's nonsensical. All right. Then this is what gets interesting. That was in past tense. Now we go into present tense. We get up and look outside. Now, when people go into present tense, there's usually deception. In other words, this isn't exactly what happened. So now I have to imagine it, and I'm now going through, like I'm fantasizing what could have happened. So here I'm going through like an act. Okay, so we get up and we look outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. Okay, so this is all present tense, not we looked for them, we yelled for them, and it's also very vague. Where were you looking for them? Where were you yelling for them? How long?
Right, and again, as if you were watching earlier, the stepfather says, well, he's solo looking for the two kids in the bedrooms, goes to the kitchen, and then goes to the backyard, all using just himself, not using we, us. So very interesting.
Did this go on? This is all because I don't think that happened. That's what it seems like. So therefore, it's all imaginary, and there's no details because there's no details to put in there because they don't exist. And then she said, and I instantly just called 911. Now she goes back to past tense. She did call 911, so that is something in the past tense, you see? But the just word is there again, too. Why is the just word? Well, you don't just call 911, you just call 911. And then she instantly just called 911. Like, she's got to say that somehow she didn't waste time. She was so concerned about her children, she instantly just called 911. All she needed to say was, we couldn't find them, we called 911. I called 911. But she does, and she adds instantly and just, and that to me is deception. And then she goes on with...
So interesting to find out these little words, that are obviously, red flags that they look for in statement analysis. It's truly quite an interesting field.
Another just. I just had the instinct I needed to call. You have to explain why you're calling 911 when your kids are missing? Why do you feel the need to explain that? Anybody would just say, I called 911. That's the end of it. Now you have to I had an instinct. God, that's good. I'm glad you got some human instincts that I needed to call. No, but your kids are missing. It doesn't mean the children are abused. I just want to say that right up front.
So there's one more part. Of course, this, I think, I want to say this is... this particular video's easily somewhere from like 20 to 40 minutes. I'm not sure. But of course, I just took like maybe 10 minutes of it, just a couple clips.
Be in a messy house, they could have junk outside and be having a heck of a great life. They could be having fun all the time.
So she talks about the backyard, and that's something I didn't really think about, but she makes kind of a good point. If the kids just like wandered off into the backyard, she kind of puts up an argument like, why weren't they just out there playing, just like normal kids in the backyard? I mean, because they do have a slide, they have chickens, and I do think that's kind of interesting.
They could be getting lots of love, and they could be having picnics and barbecues, and the families could be say that their lifestyle has anything necessarily to do with what happened to the kids, unless there's drugs, in which case that's another issue. And that's what the police are trying to determine.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that really bugs me. I'm looking at this backyard. The chickens are in that little place where you see the little wood strips over. That's where the chickens are. Well, my family also has chickens, so I kind of relate.
Yeah, and I lived with my aunt, and we had chickens, and of course, kids. I mean, they love animals, and
to the chicken thing. A lot of times, kids go out there and they want to go into the chicken coop and play with the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a big, huge rooster to attack them, and that they might enjoy doing that. 6 years old and 4 years old, that they would go out into this backyard and play for a long while. I don't believe that mommy or stepdaddy is always staring out that one, because there's not a lot of windows back there. Mm-hmm. So this is the backyard where the kids play. So I'm going to guess that a good portion of the time the kids go back there and play and their parents are not watching them. I don't buy that story from the mom at all. I believe they go out and play.
Yeah.
And they have toys to play with. They have, I think, a swing set or something in there. There's a place to run around and kick balls and throw things and play tag or whatever they're going to do. They can run all over the place back there. They can have fun back there. I think there's even I don't know if they have a dog, but they could play with animals back there. It's actually a great backyard. And look at it. It is entirely fenced. This is a fenced backyard. Now, I can't say there's not like a hole in the fence or something that they could have gotten through and gotten out and therefore be wandering into the woods. But they could do that. But they're 6 and 4. They're more likely to simply play in that backyard. It's not a place where kidnappers are going to probably jump over the fence. It's a great location for kids to play, and I can't believe it. It's 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, 9 o'clock in the morning. The kids get up there. They're taking care of the baby. The little kids go out the back, and they go down the steps, and they go play in the backyard. That they went missing, like, right away. Oh, my God, within minutes, they're just disappeared out of the backyard.
And I know there's, like, people have said, like, Lily likes to carry her backpack around, but I'm sure she takes it off from time to time, especially if she's going to play. I just find the backpack thing really sus, and I just want to show this. All right, we'll get to Deception Detective, but I just want to show this. This is a guy that came out after they suspended the search, and he was just kind of, a local, knew about what was going on, and decided to kind of do just, going through the woods, do a little searching. But I just wanted to show the environment that we're walking through and point out something that really just, to me, I think the first thing, if they were lost, in my opinion, the first thing they would find would be the backpack. So those that are OGs to the channel know that I've been out searching, and usually I do have a backpack. Obviously, I have all sorts of stuff, survival stuff, because especially when we're out searching for, like, in the desert, where there's no a lot of places out there don't have cell service. So we'll usually have walkie-talkies, but of course there's always something that could go wrong. So I have all sorts of stuff in a backpack. So I am very familiar with having a backpack on, going through woods, especially like this, and I'll just kind of explain my what's happened to me and others when you start getting into this thicker stuff. Oh, good to see you, Valerie. God bless. But yeah, this stuff is thick, and so apparently there was a hurricane, I forget how many years ago, that knocked down a lot of stuff. But when you got a backpack on, I don't know if this guy's got a backpack on or not. When you start going through this stuff, all those little sticks, branches, are gonna start latching onto your backpack. And, eventually, once in a while, just kind of depends on the backpack you have. If there's certain areas that can get, a certain stick or branch can get snagged on it, and as you're going, it'll yank on you. Or, a lot of branches will just kind of snap. But, with a younger kid on a much smaller backpack, I would just think going through this stuff, it would be ditched along the way. In my opinion, because he's not even into the worst of it yet, and from the videos that I've seen, there's not a lot, and he does have a rifle. So if you see that, I'm not gonna play all of this. I just wanted to show some of the denser stuff, and this is stuff. And then the other thing is so they suffered, for those that they talked about it, the volunteers, I don't know how many, but a certain amount suffered from either sprained ankles, a twisted knee, and falling down, just getting, cut up and stuff. I think there was one more, but I know twisted ankles and, twisted knees, or sprained ankles and twisted knees. And yes, I have experienced that. Because I have size 13 shoe, and it's really easy for me to roll my ankle on something, unless, when I have boots on, it's a little bit better. But yeah, you get into these areas, and it is just dense, rough. Stuff that I've dealt with. And then on top of that, they have ticks out there, which is the same thing that I've had to deal with. But again, just going through this, having a backpack on, it's so easy for something to get caught onto that backpack. It happens all the time when you're going through it. There you go. Thank you, Cream Puff. So 3... so just about 3 years ago. Anyway, let me know what you think in chat, but in my opinion, that would be the first thing that would get ditched. I can't see them. I mean, if they got far out in there, and then if it started getting dark, or even before it got dark, I could definitely see where, they're going, but they end up getting separated easily. Because when you start getting into this dense woods, like that, I mean, you got stuff, obviously there's a little bit open area here, but once you get into that, somebody could be like less than 10 feet away from you. And if you've got all these dense, trees around you, and they kind of veer off just a little bit, it's so easily to, lose, your partner. So again, I really just don't see how with two children, and one having a backpack, that they have not found anything. Or Jack's pull-up. Yeah, that's a little bit different, but yeah, if it did rain, because I know those pull-ups do get, I guess it just kind of depends on the brand, but yeah, that would be something that would definitely, would not be comfortable, I'm sure. It's poor kids. I don't know. And again, I can't see how they didn't find any tracks. I mean, so a lot of this is, you got like the grass, this kind of vegetation, but there's areas where there's more the dirt, mud. Clearly, obviously, they found boot prints. I just can't see them not finding some kind of disturbance or boot prints where there was actual trail. But again, I've never been out there. I can only go off what I've seen. But it is, a lot of that is kind of similar to what I've dealt with, just different types of trees, but more or less the same. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of chat. It's just weird. Let's see if there's any updates before we finish up. And I do thank you to all my wonderful mods in here. Connie's World, I'm sorry I missed you. Thank you so much for the $4.99. God bless you. Really helps this channel out, especially since I've been missing a week, which I'll try to make up. I see Darlene Orton, I think. I hope I got that right. It's really small where I'm at. I think it's Darlene. I'll just say Darlene because I can see the Darlene. Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. God bless you. We'll finish up with one clip of the man himself. And I just want to play this one. Oops. Yep, right here.
He's expecting to look for the rest of his life as if he'll never find Lily and Jack.
So if they're looking and finding like little stickers, that shows you the detail. And I think this was really late at night, if I'm not...
Crime audio.
Towards the main road there.
When Daniel said he might have to search for the rest of his life, that was a red flag. Paula was right about that. And that's because it belies some sort of knowledge that he'll never find the children. It's like OJ saying that he'll look for Nicole's real killer for the rest of his life. Or John and Patsy Ramsey saying the same thing about John Bonet's quote-unquote kidnapper. Does this mean that Daniel's the culprit and he killed the children? Not necessarily. If you've seen my other videos in this series, you'll know I actually think he's far less involved than the mother is. But it does suggest he knows more than he's telling us, whether that knowledge is that his girlfriend, their mother, had a temper and may have actually done something permanent to them, or that they disappeared days before she reported them missing, so she would have had ample time to hide them somewhere, or that he knows who kidnapped them. In other words, he knows they're actually kidnapped and they're not going to get...
They have available to get...
Yeah, so that's always a huge red flag. This statement here, So he says, my family's still searching. We will never give up hope. We'll continue to look and probably look for the rest of my life. Yeah, and that's a huge, huge red flag. And as he said, John Bonet, the patsies, said, we'll be looking for the killer for the rest of my life. Yeah, just huge, huge, huge red flag. Agreed there. Love Deception Detective. Let's see, I've got one more here.
100 to 140 search and rescue crews in the woods. A spokesperson for the Chignecto Central Regional Center for Education tells us the two children were students at Salt Springs Elementary School. Their stepdad told us they'd both been out sick all week before disappearing on Friday. The school has additional...
That's interesting. He says both, I was told both were out sick that day. I need to find that clip.
Support staff on site at Salt Springs if anyone needs that support. Meanwhile, the search will continue into the night here in the Lansdowne area of Pictou County for young Jack and Lily Sullivan.
Those are the cliff notes, and as you can already see, the red flags are flying. We have 2 preschoolers reported missing from their home in rural Canada on Friday, but they haven't been to school for the entire week. We have a non-biological male, Daniel, in the house with small children, which is heavily correlated with child abuse. And we have a mother who didn't exactly give me the warm and fuzzies when I analyzed her in my last video. I won't rehash my analysis of her, I'll link that video at the end. But here's a quick clip just so you can get a gist of it before.
Let me play this one more.
Really suspicious if he's not at least a little bit curious about her. Alright, without further ado, let's listen.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them.
And then boots. God, I didn't even think about that. The boots. Because a lot of those boots, let me know. Again, I haven't had the honor of being a parent yet. But I've had experience of, helping others, babysitting and stuff. And yeah, the boots, a lot of time they're like kind of loose fitting. I know I'm sure there could be some tight fitting, but the ones that I dealt with are more kind of loose fitting. And again, out in that environment where you've got, trees that are have been blown down, I just showed videos of what it's like out there, and I've even had my boots nearly ripped off, in certain parts, cause I'll either get it stuck in just a bad spot where it's wedged in between, I don't know, a rock and a log or something, or, a heavy branch. Again, and that's how you twist a knee or twist an ankle. So again, first the backpack and boots, I would think you would see those. And again, then he says, if the kids got wet, they would come right back, and I don't know. Yeah, I love I love how he says that.
Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white, strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up on for that long after it got soaked from the... Yeah,
and it's almost like he knows, like, that's the first thing I would say. I'd be like, yeah, I don't think the backpack would last long. Again, like I said, I've been out in those kind of environments with a backpack, and you're coming through, and you start getting into the denser stuff, and then all these sticks, branches are starting they're poking at you, and it's just it's easy to get hooked on something on your backpack to kind of start yanking on it. It's rough.
Very first day, we only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Nothing new, other than the helicopters are still in the air, and they had dogs. They took around the dogs today, and as of last night, they had 8 more drones going up, and then Fred. I urge the public to come out if you have anything, come out as fast as possible and get it to any detachment or any police service that you have available to talk to.
We've analyzed dozens of interviews of parents of missing children, and over the course of making those videos, I've recognized that innocent parents tend to do 7 things when they have the opportunity to get on TV or talk to an audience. I call it my missing child presser interview checklist, and I haven't had to update it ever since I made it almost 2 years ago. And that's because it's based on human nature, not the latest best practices in policing or, advocacy groups for parents of missing.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. He's used this in a lot of his coverage on different cases, especially, if the parents have obviously done interviews or pressers or whatever. And, it's a very interesting list, and he goes down it. I thought I was going to play this, but I'm going to just, I played a little bit of his clip, but I love Deception Detective. I also have the link to his channel in the description below. He has, I want to say like 10 videos on this case, somewhere around in there. And then, somebody said that there's kind of like another case attached to this about Dylan. Yeah, I need to look into that. That's weird. Valerie, honestly me, thank you so much, Valerie. God bless you. I appreciate the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. God bless you. It really helps this channel. Bears and ticks, right? And it seems like they have enough in that backyard to play, as Pat Brown kind of pointed out. Again, I know kids get mischievous and want to explore, but I don't know. It seems like they covered a lot of ground, and of course it's still easy for them to miss something, especially in a place like this. But I don't know. I think that the big red flag is the fact that after that first day, the mother, they're both accused. The mother's side is accusing the father or the stepfather that he's done something with them. I think that's a huge red flag compared to what she just said the day prior, where she's saying that they're both in bed and that the children are there. So I don't know. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, if you can, hit that like button. I'm going to try to make up this week. Again, it's just going to take it day by day. I got to try to clear my computer and figure out this Dropbox thing. Oh my gosh, it's a nightmare right now. My computer is literally almost like full, and that's not a good thing. But I was going to just see if there was anything. Let's just check before we No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, really, just to kind of recap, they had a 2-day search, Saturday and Sunday, this past weekend. Likely, maybe, they had some tips or leads, possibly, that they wanted to try to follow up on in certain areas, but nothing, apparently, at least that we know publicly, that they found anything. And now, the last thing they basically said is that they are now going to assess, everything that happened that week, this past weekend, and then go from there. So, again, this will probably be the calm before the storm, if something does happen. Yeah, the way he talks about the backpack, that is really sus. I mean, he's almost talking like that all happened. He was there and he knew it. It is really creepy. The other thing I wanted to point out, and I just didn't get enough time, is, it's wild, is, let's see if I can find it. If not, I'll just talk about it.
We've heard 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle.
Yeah, it's this. So there's two things. Obviously, again, people are wondering, why are you getting in the vehicle? If they'd just been gone for minutes, why are you not just kind of, looking at around the perimeter of your backyard, screaming their name. It's kind of weird.
And I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on...
The first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat.
Okay, right here he's going to say something. I'm like, oh, whoa, this is interesting.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. Jack and Lily will be found. She is now staying with family outside the county, and Martel says she hasn't spoken to him since. Hundreds of people have been searching for 5 days now. Martel is worried the children have been abducted.
Hardly any evidence at all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found.
The RCMP...
Oh, this interview... I don't see.
I can tell you that...
Pack with
so
warning
anyway,
while they are on the Martel can...
In the road, and then as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in military. I got hit all since the first day. It's mind-boggling that nothing else was found.
The RCMP...
Oh. Yeah, it looks like they cut this clip. So there's more. He says right after that, he says, yeah, it was waist deep in water. Which I find very interesting, because if he was in waist deep water, up to his chest, I believe he said, when he went out searching, I just want to know, like, was he seen, with wet jeans or whatever he was wearing, cargo pants, whatever, his preference is. Because, I mean, if you're going in that kind of water, I think he would be absolutely drenched. And I'd just like to know, did anybody witness when he came back? Was he soaked? At least from his waist down. Yeah, running in waist deep water. Oh, so it's okay. So it's not exactly linked to the same family. Yeah, I think that sounds more right. I've not delved into the Dylan case. I've heard about it, like just word of mouth, but I have not like covered it or obviously really looked into it. I might have to, but I know a lot of people also follow me for Sebastian Rogers' case. I was thinking about doing like a kind of half and half, update on this and Sebastian, but I just got so much with this that I didn't want to do like a 3-hour live. So we'll definitely do a Sebastian or maybe a half and half, just depending on if there's anything going on with the Nova Scotia children. I do pray that there is some happy ending. I mean, there's always a chance. Oh, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody. Again, if you can, please hit that like button. For the members and Patreons, I am going to just kind of... It's basically what's in my video, but it's just going to be audio, and it's just going to be the timeline up to today's date, basically. I'm going to try to get that out, hopefully tonight, if in the morning, for Patreons and members. Just, that way it's, without my commentary, and it's just, all the, the story up to today's date. Oh, thank you so much. I think it's Jenny. God bless you. Yeah, feeling better today. Yeah, I get it. Dylan went missing in the same area. Yeah, I will have to look into that. I remember seeing a clip from, I think, the biological father talking about a PI, and I just haven't had time to check that one out, but I will have to probably look into it. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. You never know. They may have something we don't know, and they're keeping it close to the vest. It does happen in a lot of cases. I do think that at least they got involved very quickly compared to, say, Sebastian Rogers' case, where they definitely dropped the ball on that one hard. So I think there's a better chance of getting hopefully some resolution. The only thing that's scary is the fact that there's like no cell service out there. So obviously, if they were gonna dispose of bodies, they wouldn't have to worry about being tracked. That's a little scary. Watch JC. Jennifer Coffindaffer or JC? The only thing I can think of with JC is Jennifer Coffindaffer. But yeah, I will definitely check that case out. Looks like a lot of dealings in that. Maybe that would be a case we could cover as well. So. But anyway, true. So different county is what DFAX is saying, but still in kind of that general area up there is, I guess, is what people are saying. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much, Michelle. So thank you to the mod Sensei, D, Copper Horse. I don't know if I saw Jocelyn in here. Jennifer, and Jez. I don't know if I've seen her, but God bless you guys. And we'll be back. I'll try to do a makeup live throughout the week. Just kind of take it day to day. But you can become part of my Facebook group page if you don't get notifications. I always kind of send out an update hours before I go live. But we'll try to kind of make up this week for last week. So thank you guys so much for the love and support. I'm going to play the pet outro, and hopefully maybe we'll get another live in tomorrow as well. Yeah, he's got a great system, Valerie. I agree. Yeah, he's right on with the mom. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, why is she worrying about blocking, especially in a case where you've got he's the one that, like, where the kids went missing is where, allegedly where he's at. So, he would be one of the first people to, if they did find the kids, alive or, unfortunately deceased, either way, obviously, he would be one of the first, he is the stepfather, but so I don't know, but still, I would think he would definitely be in the inner circle. And, with her gone, I would think that it's kind of seems silly. I don't know. Unless she knows something we don't. But hopefully those kids, wherever they are, they find them. Stacy and Renee, keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. God bless you, Stacy. That's so sweet of you. Peacemaker says, RCMP knows more than we do, but this is great. Well done. So happy to be here. Thanks, Peacemaker. I appreciate it. Got a lot of new viewers, subscribers. I really appreciate everybody. And yep, we're going to do a pet outro. And then we'll hopefully try to have a live tomorrow. And we'll go from there. All right. Much love to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow. And I did that wrong. I psyched you out. This is live part 2. Okay, here we go. Hush.
Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Eat faster to waste up till the wick burns out. Just wanna be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my